Hello and welcome to another episode of the morning after. Two back-to-back games, both thrillers. First, we saw South Africa against Pakistan break a long time jinx,
Yeah.
and now Australia against New Zealand. Australia and New Zealand, this trans-Tasman rivalry always gives us some exciting matches, but this one was special.
How many more heartbreaks can my guy Jimmy Neesham suffer? I'm actually starting to feel bad for this guy. Like,
Should have just taken up baking.
sure, exactly. I mean, yeah, he put his heart out there today, but honestly, exceptional game of cricket. Like you said, to have two back-to-back games like that after we went through what 2.5 weeks, 23 games of almost every game was just one-sided. People going for red inks, people going for personal records, milestones, etc., whatnot. Some of our viewers don't like when we say that, apparently. But that was the reality for 23 games. So now to have something like that for two back-to-back games is exceptional. Good for the World Cup too.
Let's focus on the very start of the match. Travis Head, we were talking about it. We were talking about how he was going to fit into the 11. He has done that. He has replaced Cameron Green. He's come in at his familiar position of opening, pushed Mitchell Marsh down to three, and he has made the position his own.
I mean,
What a knock.
exceptional. To what freaking 106 on return. If you think about it, he wasn't even in India until the last week or so. I think he just arrived before their Netherlands game or something like that. And yeah, I mean, what a start. What a positive way to start. They had a clear plan to go after Matt Henry. And it's not like Matt Henry is someone who bowled badly this World Cup. He's been exceptional at the World Cup till now against every team, bowled good lines, put good lines. But Warner and Travis said at one point in some group chats, they were talking about, someone drug test Warner, and Travis said, uh, it looked like that. I mean, they were playing some exceptional, crazy shots, right? Warner was getting down on one knee, hitting it behind him. They were freaking hell. You remember Mushfiq Rahim getting out to third man? You see the way Travis Head and David Warner were playing it today? Whip action, just going for six straight, like no questions asked. Similar deliveries, right? But yeah, I mean, Travis Head, beat ball. I mean, what else can you say? One of the best white ball knocks I've seen from an opener. And not because he scored just 100, not he didn't score like 175 like Martin Guptill did 8 years ago. But yeah, exceptional.
I mean, that's the thing with the Dharmasala track. It seems as if once you're set, it's a complete batting paradise, but otherwise it can actually get very difficult. And we saw that with the other batters that followed. Mitch Marsh,
Yeah.
Steve Smith, Marnus Labuschagne all had a bit of a difficult time. Of course, they were going against a very, very well decorated bowling attack, but still, they had a fairly tough time out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I think only Glenn Maxwell, who's coming off of some some form from the last game where he scored 100. Sorry, he had a over 100 strike rate, and no one else really had over 100 strike rate besides that, right? All these guys were just bogged down. They were finding it hard, especially the three guys you mentioned, Marnus, Smith, and Mitch. Although they got some runs, it wasn't at the fast pace that Head, Warner, Maxwell, or Inglis got them. Yeah, I think to have that kind of a finishing that they did from Inglis and Maxwell was really good. But do you think this is a track where it's almost a little too paced, but like you said, you get adjusted to the two pace nature of it after you've batted for a bit?
It also shows the skill of the ODI batters who were playing today. And
Yeah.
it's because not a lot of batters can show that level of application. We have seen, I don't want to go there, but we've seen the Bangladeshi batters struggle on every wicket.
Yeah.
We've seen the English batters throw their wickets away.
Yeah.
So we have seen that other side of the coin as well. So it shows that this is exactly what it is. Like these are very skillful batters, and once they get set, they can properly apply themselves to that wicket. As you said, there is a two-pace nature to it, but it doesn't really bother them once they're
No.
as well set as those guys were.
Yeah.
And then coming on to that, as you mentioned, Glenn Maxwell, Josh Inglis, and Pat Cummins giving Australia the near perfect finish, only to
Yeah.
trail off a little towards the last couple of overs.
Yeah, I think when New Zealand was chasing, that's what they were thinking about probably, that finishing. We've talked about it on the show for most of the World Cup, is teams that have finished well really got that impetus going into the second innings, or they really sealed that game when they finished off pretty well. We didn't see that from Australia today, and they were probably thinking about, at a point when Neesham was going off, they're thinking, oh, we missed out 10, 15 runs there at the end, which we could have easily gotten. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy, don't you think, the way they batted, and for them to not even bat 50 overs? Like, it looked like at a point they were going to score 500 of 50 overs, and then to get bowled out with 4 balls left. Also talks about how well New Zealand came back into the game at the end. But yeah, Rhodes of India is giving a lot of runs. What is it, almost
No,
800
that's the
runs?
beauty of 50 overs cricket. There's always something for everyone.
Yeah,
The New Zealand bowlers chipping in, but the Australian batters having a field day out there, but not all of them. So some
yeah,
of them struggled, some of them maintained their usual scoring pace, some went above and beyond that, like Travis Head. So that's the beauty of ODI cricket. There's always something for everyone. And that's us talking about the first innings. The second innings was even more exciting. We
even
haven't even
more.
gotten
Yeah,
there yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And
coming
Pat
to the
Cummins
second
looked good
innings,
too. Yeah,
oh, he did. He looked
yeah,
very good. Like
yeah.
he looked like a proper finisher who was sent out there to bat, not just a
Yeah,
bowler who
not
can
just
bat.
an
And I think
Hoik slugger type of vibe, no. And I
no, no,
am
no.
so thankful to Australian cricket for deciding to drop Eric Carey. It would have been very easy for them to be very concrete and say, no, he's a number one pick, we're gonna stick with him and stuff. It was clear he was struggling. He hasn't been the same since he ran out Johnny Bairstow. I mean, that's probably not related, but still, you can always get at things like that. And it had a mental impact sometimes because, like we said, blokes like freaking Markram, Shakib, Stokes will always remind you what you did.
Now coming to that second innings, all important second innings. A decent start by the New Zealand openers, and then the chase was architected almost perfectly by the young Rachin Ravindra.
Bro, I don't think I have seen a young player play at this kind of maturity in a long, long time. Like, you talk about how when Virat Kohli first came into the scene, something like that, or when Babar Azam first came into the scene, they struggled initially, and then they got used to it, and then they became the players that they are now. Rachin Ravindra, you think about 2 years ago when he first came to Bangladesh, looked completely out of sorts, looked all over the place. For him to come to this World Cup, we know he was in Hyderabad for about 6 weeks or something before in the summer, training in India because he knew he was a chance to come to the World Cup. So he was always prepared. But to come and deliver the way he did, yeah, it's just exceptional. Conway hasn't gotten the runs that they want, time to time, through the World Cup, but especially after the first match where he was crazy. But I think for him to even start on a positive note that he did really laid the foundation for someone like Rachin to come in and have that confidence that no, I can carry this forward. And we know they're really good friends and stuff off the field. So all of that stuff relays on slowly. And, even though they lost, they don't feel the Kane Williamson gap in batting, but they do feel the Kane Williamson gap in the field.
Captaincy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to talk a little more about the stand-in captain a bit later, but see,
Yes,
if we were to dissect Devon Conway's innings, wouldn't you say that him scoring 28 of 17, it's something they would take over, let's say, him scoring 40 of 40,
yeah,
let's say.
100%. When you're chasing 388, 389, um, that top order start is very important. How you lay the confidence in the guys in the shed plays a big part. He's going out there, he's hit 6 boundaries of 17 balls against Australia's best pacers. Anyone coming in has that confidence to continue at the same speed that he was continuing at. It's not any crazy speed. He's not scoring 40 of 25 or 60 of 20. Sorry. It's 20, 30 of 17, 28 of 17. It's a good enough speed that you can always stay close to the required run rate. And you don't have to be, chasing some massive mammoth total in the last 15 or the last 20. So that really played a part. Yeah, I think, when they dropped Finn Allen, it was a big call, taking out Phil Allen and banking on Will Young. Uh, but I think it was a call that really paid well, because if you had Finn Allen and Devon Conway both going after it, it would have been a little risky, not ideal for ODI cricket. So have someone, steady the ship on the other side is boding well for
It's a
New
very
Zealand.
T20 cricket opening pair.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, coming to New Zealand's number 3 and number 4, we spoke about Rachin Ravindra, brilliant. Daryl Mitchell has been very consistent and very good, not just in this World Cup. I want to say from 2021,
Yeah,
beginning of 2021, he has been
yeah.
exceptionally good. And sometimes he has that tendency to just go under the radar. And it's great to see him becoming this proper middle order enforcer with the bat. No, no, we talk about enforcers with the ball. That
Well, yeah,
he is an enforcer with the bat at this point. He can
yeah,
basically change the game in a couple of overs.
yeah. I was actually gonna ask, you think his wicket actually played a part in derailing New Zealand's chase a little, because he got out, to Zampa, because that shot that he always plays, in hell, like it goes for six, right? He just mistimed that one, and it went for a catch. But I think, yeah, 100 last game, 54 this game.
The thing is, it's not a shot he can ever power too much. Like there's
Mm,
only so much power that can go
yeah,
behind the shot. It's all timing.
yeah, yeah.
He doesn't want to overhit that.
Overhit
He
the
doesn't
ball,
want to
and
lose his
he
shape.
knew as soon as he hit it, he's like, oh shit, man. He like turned around as soon as. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Kane Williamson's probably out for 2 more games. They will need wins from those 2 games. They have 2 back-to-back losses now, but to have the kind of form that Ravindra and Mitchell are in, especially Mitchell, he's anchoring that middle order really well. Um, I thought they made a really good call today with also bringing back Neesham. But more importantly, I think when your number 4 is in runs, some of the teams that we're seeing, someone like Rizwan is not carrying on, getting a start but not carrying on. But for him to, get a start and carry on. And I think more so he was criticized a little last game, that he slowed down for his 100. I thought today he did that really well, where he still kept at pace, kept trying to be positive, and didn't really think about, for a milestone or anything like that. And that really allowed New Zealand to still stay in the game till last 2 balls.
Here's a weird problem New Zealand are facing. Tom
Yeah.
Latham's captaincy has been decent at best and questionable at worst. And his batting form isn't the best either.
Why is this guy bringing on
Number
Mitch
five, he's
Santner in the freaking power play, bro? I
at
was like,
number
what are you
five,
doing?
he's not delivering the way they expect him to deliver. He's not that kind of a player who's going to come out at number 5 and score 30 balls 60. He's
No,
not. But they
no.
need him to do that sometimes in those situations, and that's just not his game. So
Yeah.
he is coming in these weird situations. But here's the problem.
When did he come in today? What was
Ideal
the score? What was the score when he came in today?
when he came in was 168 for 3.
168 for 3. Okay. So
Daryl
still
Mitchell
about
just got out.
220 to get. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem I'm trying to address. You drop Tom Latham. Let's say Williamson comes back. You drop Tom Latham, or you give the captaincy to Santner, which they have done in the past.
Yeah,
So in either of those situations, you drop Tom Latham. Your second choice keeper is Glenn Phillips.
yeah.
Here's the
But
problem. Glenn Phillips today,
took
he's been
three
bowling
wickets.
frequently. Today he comes to bowl 3 wickets, 37 runs in 10 overs.
10 overs, yeah. Well,
How do you
in
just give
that
him the
situation,
gloves?
do you give Devin Conway the gloves?
That's what I was going to go to. So
Yeah.
what if New Zealand turned into this super dynamic mode where Devon Conway keeps for 40 overs, and in the 10 overs where what's his
Yeah,
name, Glenn
the
Phillips
Glenn
bowls.
Phillips is not bowling. Yeah, yeah. He the last
So
10.
sorry, those 10 overs, Devon Conway, all 40 overs, Glenn Phillips.
Glenn
You do
Phillips.
this
Yeah, yeah,
weird combination.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. At this point,
I
New
don't know.
Zealand might as well.
I mean, things have been done in the past. New Zealand's pretty flexible as a team, right? But I agree. Especially when Mitchell got out, I think for him to come in and he was scoring run a ball. He wasn't really putting the pressure back on the bowlers. The thing that we were talking about, how the rest of the guys were putting that pressure back on the bowlers. He wasn't really putting any pressure on them. And Australia always knew they were just a wicket away from exposing the lower order. Um, but yeah, thoughts on our guy, Mr. Jimmy Niche.
That's our main topic of the day, I want to say. Jimmy Neesham, everyone's favorite. Everyone loves this guy.
He
Everyone's
went for
favorite.
32 runs in his 2 overs, but he got a wicket though. So
No. But in those overs, to
yeah,
be fair to him, there were two drop catches, I
yeah,
think,
yeah, yeah,
in that
yeah. There were two drop catches.
48th over, I think he was bowling,
Yeah,
there were two dropped catches,
yeah.
which could have changed the trajectory of the game completely. That
Come,
those two dropped catches, now in hindsight, they could have won the
they
game.
could have won the game exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So with Jimmy Neesham, of course, let's talk about Jimmy Neesham. We were talking about how Mark Chapman playing at number 7 doesn't really make too much sense when you have someone like Jimmy Neesham waiting in the wings. Today, Jimmy Neesham comes in, plays a near perfect innings given the situation, and just falling short at the end. What is it with this man?
Man, I feel so bad for him. 2019 final. And then right after that final, they had a home series where he had a super over game against India, I think, where he just came short. Today again, I mean, this guy's just, I hope the be all end all of this is him lifting the World Cup trophy. That will be a nice way to cap it off for him after all these narrow misses. But I mean, one thing I noticed today from Jimmy Neesham was his stability on the pitch. His base was super strong. He was very clear with what he wanted to do. Um, the shots he played, especially that 6 over extra cover of Mitchell Stark was crazy. But Mitchell Stark did not miss his length by that much each time. And his power through the ball, just those straight sixes. Yeah, I mean, it's very good. And like we said, you need to have a proper finisher at number 7. Mark Chapman is more of a top order batsman. And if you drop someone like Tom Latham and you make the other guys keep, and Williamson's not fit, you can definitely play Latham at a number 4, number 5 position. Um, and I mean Chapman at number 4, number 5 position, and we know he can score 100 at the top order. Like he's done it already in these similar conditions. Um, so yeah, I mean the way they still stayed in that game, 389. Sometimes I think the biggest takeaway for New Zealand of this game is that it didn't hamper their run rate at all. Only a
That was
4-run
always going to be
loss.
a big concern.
Yeah,
Like, even if you get 300 today,
yeah,
let's say,
yeah. An
88
80
runs is
run,
a huge
huge
margin.
difference, exactly. So to basically leave their net run rate untouched, and obviously the loss hurts, but with 3 games still to go, they back themselves to win at least 2 of those games, right? So yeah, I mean, they'll definitely be in a better position.
Let's talk a bit about Adam Zampa. He went for a few runs today, but once again, he knew exactly how to get those 3 wickets, and those 3 wickets were game changing, absolutely game changing.
Someone get Fardin Afnan and his comment about Adam Zampa. This guy said Adam Zampa doesn't deserve to play international cricket as a leg spinner. I told him that moment, bro, you have no idea what you're saying. And I'm telling you, bro, for someone like Zampa, he knows they're gonna keep coming after him. He knows India is not the best place to be bowling as a spinner all the time, especially in tracks like this where short boundary, everyone's targeting you for the short boundary. You want to accept it or you don't want to accept it, everyone's targeting you for the short boundary, right?
It's literally easier to be a finger spinner at this
Finger
point.
spinner at this point. Yeah. And for him to have that heart, yeah, he went for 74 runs, but he took 3 wickets. End of the day, in a context of this match, those 3 wickets mean much more than the runs he conceded. It's just, and what, 2 man of the match performances. Last match he got a couple. This match he also got 3. So our last match was the 4-4.
It's four,
The
four,
4-4.
four, three. That
Yeah.
that's the
That,
combination.
that's crazy. I mean, like, is he the highest wicket taker right now?
I believe so. He was before this match, so he
Yeah,
would
I think
have to be
Shaheen
right now.
Shaheen got to 13 yesterday, but he probably toppled Shaheen and went to 16
Yeah,
or
he
something.
toppled
And
Shaheen and Santner. Santner toppled him in the first innings, and
oh
then he
yeah,
takes
and then
over
he
again.
takes over. So yeah, so um end of the day, importance of having a good leg spinner in your team makes a whole lot of difference. We were talking about if Australia want to play an extra spinner or not today. They didn't really need to, but Maxwell again looked good for his 10
He bowls
overs.
10 overs. He is the extra spinner, basically.
Yeah. I mean, he's bowling exception. I didn't know Tanvir Sangha was a traveling reserve. This guy was,
He was, yeah.
he's a
They announced
traveling
it
reserve.
earlier. He was.
Okay. I saw him in the sheds when they got Neesham out. And he's like jumping up and down. I was like, oh, this guy's here. So, yeah. So, if
They kept
something
him around.
happens, if something happens, they still have the option.
So just to end the discussion today, mid Stark, we know he went for quite a few runs. I think 89 in his 9 overs. Someone looking at the scorecard won't be able to tell you how good he was in that last
No,
over.
no, no. 19 to defend against Jimmy Neesham of the last um 5 wides was difficult, but you back Jimmy Neesham to get 13 of the last. If you're giving him 5 extra runs, you back him to get 13 of the last. So for him to basically keep him quiet, and they've placed their fielder really well. Those 2 Yorkers where Neesham played 1 to cow corner and then 1 down the wicket. His field placing was exceptional. So yeah, I mean, tremendous last over to basically steal New Zealand's game. I want to say it was New Zealand's game at the end there. It was New Zealand's to lose, and they kind of did lose it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, some days you'll look at figures and go like shit bowler, not a shit bowler.
If Trent Bolt got to play that last ball, he would have sent that across the Himalayas straight to Nepal. But
Yo,
that just wasn't to be.
I don't know how he survived that catch because I thought Marnus had it, but then Marnus like stepped too much. Like the momentum of the ball was too much. So, but yeah, Trent Bolt thinks he could have hit that for a 6. I know for a fact.
Trent Bolt can hit anything for a 6, don't worry.
uh, yeah, I think
Fardin, I
what
think we're at the end of today's discussion. Where do we stand in terms of Australia and New Zealand in the context of the table and semi-final positions?
I think New Zealand will be a little worried because they've lost 2 on the bounce.
And
Uh,
South Africa next.
and South Africa is next, which is a team in form. So they'll need to bounce back from this pretty quickly. Still contenders for the semifinal, I would say. Australia going strength through strength, and without Stoinis, to have Travis Head come in and play the way he did, it just shows you they're so flexible with their team that guys are willing to move up and down at any time. And hot favorites,
Australia?
yeah,
I mean, ICC tournament, informed team.
informed team. It's once you
This
get
is
to
default.
playoffs, it's about who has better form. It's literally that. So yeah, it's possible.
We saw exactly that with England last time.
Last year,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, last time. Sorry, yeah.
So that's basically it. And South Africa, I just hope South Africa remember that New Zealand knocked them out of two of the
Two
last
of
three
the
World Cups, and
yes.
kind of were the reason South Africa lost their last hope in 2019 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So I hope they remember that.
No more Grant Elliott scenes. That's what they
No,
will
no,
be
no.
hoping.
That's what they'll be hoping for.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting game. So Fardin, we'll be back tomorrow. Houndinger of a match, India versus England.
Yes, sir. Let's see
And
how it
so once
goes.
again, thank you very much.
Thank you.